I don't want to lose me. I don't want my job to define who I am. I want to set that path.
Come
And I
on.
want God to know that I'm listening to what He wants me to do and not what I think I want to do.
Hey friends, it's PBJ again. Listen, we are still talking to women who define disruption. And the woman that I am going to introduce you all to today, she has probably known me longer than anybody else I have introduced you to. I think we met when I was about 13. So if you really want to know if PBJ is PBJ, you should ask this woman because we've been around each other. We grew up in the same hometown, worked together. My very first job was with this woman. So we've been able to walk through life together. And when I tell you, this executive vice president in the financial industry, this mom, this wife, this business owner, this CEO, this artist, this creative, this woman, Sharmequa Franklin, my sister, my friend, she is the perfect example of women who define disruption because she is filling her life with purpose. I talk about discovering your brilliance and then maximizing that brilliance, meaning everywhere you look around you is purpose. And when I see Sharmequa, that's what I see. So, sister, welcome to Disrupting Burnout. I am so honored to have you here today.
I'm so honored to be here. It's so amazing to kind of see the work that you're doing for women. And I think that what you're doing is phenomenal. And I think it makes me feel good because you're a homegirl, and I've just watched you blossom and grow. And I'm just so excited for you.
Well, thank you, sister. You've been a big sister to me for a long time. And I am grateful, grateful for your love. So I need the people to know who you are. So please tell them who you are.
My name is Sharmequa Franklin. I grew up in a town that a lot of people are like, where is Early Branch, South Carolina? But I grew up in Early Branch, South Carolina, born and raised there, and went to the University of South Carolina. Um, I worked for Farm Credit for 22 years and just in various positions. I went from a customer service person when I was in Columbia straight out of college, and then I migrated to a training position. That's where I kind of got that love for HR and training and learning. And then I transitioned to Maryland. I lived in Baltimore for a while, met my husband. We have a little boy. His name is William, and he is a ball of fire. I have no idea where he gets it from, but he is my grandfather's namesake. My grandfather raised me, him and my grandmother, they raised me. And I found it fitting to name him William. So he's, don't tell my husband, but he's like the love of my life. And um, and I'm just a mom, not just a mom, but I'm a mom. I own a company called the Artsy Girl, and the Artsy Girl started when it was in the middle of the pandemic, and I was stressed out. And my husband said, I know you chief HR officer and you've got all these things going on, but why don't you go back to your first love? Like, you love art, you love drawing and creating, and so I said, okay, I can do that. And I decided I was going to build a she shed because there was no way I could draw and create just in my house. I had to have some place to do it. So created this business. Honestly, did not expect for it to take off. I was nervous. I was like, what if I make this stuff and nobody likes it? um, and I end up with all of these things. And I remember selling like my first piece. I'd always made stuff for people and given it to them for gifts. And I sold my first piece And I was like, oh my God, people actually really like this stuff. So, um, and it honestly, a lot of it came from this desire to just not only be the HR person or just be a mom, I just be a wife. I needed something for me. And I needed to figure out how I was going to keep me sane throughout the COVID experience that all HR professionals were going through at the time. But I also needed something to take me back to the place of solace.
Mm.
My grandfather and I used to draw together, and it allowed me to be able to almost have a piece of him whenever I'm creating or whenever I'm making something. And believe it or not, people are like, how in the world are you doing this? And
Yeah.
I always say, it's through the grace of God.
Yeah.
God gives me the desire to go out and just do it. And I have been blessed with so many amazing people around me who believe in the Artsy Girl, believe in the brand, and believe in what I do until it has just worked itself out in a way that I just didn't imagine that it would. And I can only say that was just through the grace of God because it's not me.
So, oh my gosh. So first of all, I love I love the way in the midst of chaos, your husband who loves you very much reminded you. Sometimes we need somebody else to remind us of what settles us and what's at our core and what we love. Because in you are a woman in executive leadership, you are a Black woman in executive leadership. So the pressure is real. The pressure is real. And we can get so bogged down with the pressure that we don't even remember what we love anymore. I don't have time to think about what I like. I don't have time to do, but I love the fact that your husband said, wait a minute. You got to find a way to do what you love. And then this is so powerful. You created a space for it. Hold on. Because that is something that I never talked about on this podcast before. And you just brought my attention to that. You created a physical, so I remember your social media posting of the phases of the she shed. Like I'm following, I'm a follow, I'm a subscriber. Okay. I remember the steps, like it making the space in your yard and the she shed arriving and you did decorate, like you created a sacred space.
And I will not work like if I'm working for the company, I do no work for the company in my she shed.
Mm,
Matter of fact, when I worked from like when we were at home for that period of time when the she shed was done, I refused to do any work from there because I want a separation between my life as an executive and my life as an artist. My boss is phenomenal,
mhm.
and he supported that, and that meant a lot to me because a lot of people don't know how to separate the two. And when you are a mom and you are a wife and you're trying to be someone in the community and you know um, you need some place or somewhere to go
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
peace.
Ooh.
And when I go into my she shed, everything is pink and happy and colorful. And when I go out there, I am honestly at peace.
Mm,
I bring no negative energy into that space. If I have somebody that calls me from work, I take it outside the she shed because I want that to be a symbol of who I am outside of everything else that I do.
mm,
Um, I'm Sharmequa before I'm anything,
yeah.
and I need to be able to protect that.
Oh my gosh. I have a coach in my life who talks about the space. She has a space pillar and she talks about setting your space up to support you and how important important. Sometimes it's not the lack of clarity that is the problem. It's not the money problem. It's not the marriage problem or job problem. It's your space. You can't even think clearly because you are not in a space that allows you to be clear or allows you to be creative. And even if you don't have a she shed, I have another friend who talks about car therapy. She'll get to her house and sit in her car for 30 to 45 minutes if she can. Like if the kids are at school or her husband is taking care of them, she will sit in her car for 30 to 45 minutes. That's her space.
Mhm.
That is her separation. That is her space. So sometimes you need to think about the physical space. Where is the physical place that you can go to,
Mhm.
like Dr. Tamar Bryant says, come home to yourself? Where can you come home? Where's your homecoming? To come home to yourself, to remember who you are outside of the expectations of other people, outside of your job title, outside of your job responsibilities, outside of mama and wife. Now don't log off. Listen to me. Y'all hear me? Being someone's wife is an honor. Being someone's mother is an honor. It is never all of who you are.
That's right.
You were somebody before you met them. Please go ahead.
Your job also can't be who you are either. Like, you got to figure out who you are. Like, I remember moving to Maryland and everybody was like, "What in the world are you doing? Why are you moving to Maryland?" And I said, honestly, it's someplace I can go where I can renew myself and I can become someone that's not tied to South Carolina or where I grew up. And, all of that's made me who I am, but it doesn't define me. And sometimes we get lost in the next job title and the next whatever it might be, and then we lose ourselves in the process. And I don't want to lose me. I don't want my job to define who I am. I want to set that path.
Come
And I
on.
want God to know that I'm listening to what He wants me to do and not what I think I want to do. So
Mm.
through the Artsy Girl, I have been able to become someone that I know I am. And I know to some people that doesn't make any sense, but it allows me to escape from everything that's going on around me. And you have to understand, like that COVID stuff, and I don't want to like oversimplify it or even it was it was horrific.
Yes.
And I needed something to keep me from falling apart.
Mm.
And the Artsy Girl is and probably will always be that thing for me. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a better person because of it.
Yes. Absolutely. I was a person who buried myself in my title. After I hit burnout and I walked away from my job, I didn't even know how to introduce myself anymore because I was so used to saying, I'm Dr. Patrice Butner Jackson, Vice President of blah, blah, blah. When I didn't have that, I literally did not know how to tell people who I was because I had put my entire identity into a label that somebody else gave me.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean you don't honor your title. It doesn't mean we're not grateful for the promotion and for the experience. All of that is true. And it cannot be the whole of who you are.
Mhm.
You have to shine forth in everything that you do. You bring you to the work, to the family, to the community. But you can't do that if you never have a space or time where you come home to yourself and recognize who you are. Talk to me, Sharmequa, a little bit because we started a conversation before we hit record, and I was like, stop, because we got to talk about that on the podcast. Because what I said is, you are fire, like you are a phenomenal woman. And do you remember what you said?
Um, I think I said something along the lines of, I don't even recognize that. I just, I just do me. I try to show up as my authentic self, everywhere I go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying that just because I'm trying to sound anyway. I'm just saying I try to show up as my authentic self all the time. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
your friend, I'm your friend.
Yeah.
If you need me, I'm there. And I've had a lot of people ask me, like, how do you do this? Like, what? Like, I really don't know. I
Yeah.
make it work. I make it work for me. I want my son to see me as my whole self. I want him to see me as someone who can persevere. I want him to see me as someone who can set some goals and achieve them.
Yeah.
And you gotta be authentic with who you really are. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's your best person. Your
Yeah.
authentic person is your best person. If you try to
Absolutely.
be somebody else that you're not, you'll end up with imposter syndrome because you're not really being who you really are.
Yeah.
But I don't recognize that. People say, "Oh my God, you're so amazing," and my grandfather taught me how to be humble and just how to be an authentic person, and I just always want to be that.
Yeah. Here, a couple of things. The piece that you said earlier and you said right now is, I don't know how I make this work. I don't know. I'm just figuring it out. And I wanted you to say that here on the air because I want people to know that you're looking at somebody who you think has it all together. And you're watching somebody who you think is just flawless, perfect, wish I had that. And all of us are out here just trying to figure it out. I don't care what their title is. Go ahead.
If you follow me on social media, I say all the time, I'm a hot mess. Hot mess. My team will tell you I'm coming in here on wheels most days. But to the outside world, I got you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm 150% in at work when I'm here. I put all of my energy into what I'm focusing on at that time. So
Yeah.
if it's my son, I'm all in focusing on him. I make lists, I go through those lists, I try to do the most important things first, the big rocks first,
Yeah.
and then I just move things along, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in my business life, in my work, and also in my family life.
Listen, I know it's been a while since I came to you in this way, but I've got something to share with you. You all know that I'm in the process of writing this book, and as I'm doing this, there are strategies and ideas and thoughts that are coming to me that I've never had, and I'm so full. I can't wait to get it to you. And the book is coming this year, but I can't wait until then. I'm seeing the evidence in my life and in the lives of folks that I'm coaching one-on-one, and God has laid it on my heart to create something for folks who may be interested in one-on-one coaching, but you can't afford it. It doesn't fit into your budget. Or maybe you're curious about coaching, but you've never had that experience before. This is for folks who feel like you're marching in place. Like you're putting in all the effort, but you're not moving forward. You feel buried and you're ready to move into brilliance. I'm ready to share. I've got some strategies. I've got some things to work through with you. Listen, friends, this is not going to be fancy. There's no fancy sales page. There's no course platform. This is going to be us meeting once a month through Zoom for me to pour out to you what I have and to support you in your journey. That's it. That's it. This is 40, not 40, this is 30 bucks a month. And there has to be some kind of investment, or I've learned that people don't show up, right? But at that level, you deserve $30 a month. You can find $30 a month. So if you have wanted to work with me, but just couldn't find it in your budget, if you've been curious about coaching and just not sure if it was a good fit for you, jump in on the Hard Work Academy 2023. Even if we worked together before, friend, you ain't seen this yet. You haven't seen this yet. I am so ready. I'm so full. And I'm ready to share with you, and I'm ready to support you. Okay. So listen, if you're interested, join with the link here. Fill out the form. Join us in the Hard Work Academy. We'll kick off in May. We'll meet once a month on Zoom and we're going to walk this thing out together. Nothing fancy, but let's just get it done. It's time for you to live in brilliance. You need to know what it means to show up in purpose every day. And I'm ready to help you. All right. I can't wait to hear from you. And I'm excited to serve you. I'll see you soon. Bye, y'all. Okay, we got to talk about that. Because you said I do the big rocks first. And that is a concept that I've heard recently that was very powerful. So, what do you mean by I do the big rocks first?
So the things that need my immediate attention, that are things that can impact all of the people, I try to do those things first. So, for example, if there's a big project and it's due, I make sure I prioritize that. I don't know if you can see in my office, but I've got this
Yep.
that's, you know, it's horrible. It looks horrible.
I
But
love it.
I got these post-it notes and I move them. So the priority A things are on the top, the B items in the middle, C items at the bottom, and I move those things around because sometimes they change. And those A items, I focus on those right away. So I have a schedule for my Artsy Girl creation. When I left work, and when I left work, I go home. I look at the orders that come in, and the people who order it first, I start with theirs. I have a schedule Monday through Saturday. It's kind of when I do things. Mondays and Tuesdays are mail days.
Mhm.
Wednesdays and Thursdays is just kind of like a refresh. I got to take care of the accounting stuff. Saturdays, I create, unless there's something going on with my family. Sundays, I assemble, and I just start that same cycle over again. And I try to give myself some grace. I don't like to make people wait for things, so I just try to communicate up front. But the goal is to make sure I take care of those important things first, and then those other things that aren't critical, I get to those last.
Yeah. So I want to say two things. One, I want people to be clear what you do. So in the Artsy Girl, you are creating jewelry and accessories, and you are creating them by hand.
I
So
am.
every piece that is ordered and that is sent out, every piece is made by your very hands and designed. And oh, you've added greeting cards, Valentine's Day cards. I saw you with some luggage, some Artsy Girl luggage. So all the things. And I want to make that clear because I want people to understand. I want them to understand the work that you're putting into your passion. But what I love is so many of us are just guilty of scheduling and prioritizing at work, and we never prioritize the rest of our purpose. So I love the sticky notes. I'm a sticky note person. I got some big post-it paper right over here. So I'm with you. I'm with you. And so many of us do that for somebody else's dream, for somebody else's company, for somebody else's organization, but we fail to do it for ourselves. I love that the same system that works for you at your finance company is the same system that works for the Artsy Girl and for your motherhood and your family.
Mhm.
And you deserve that. You deserve to put a system in place. If you don't schedule the purpose, it's not going to happen.
That
Whatever it is. Yeah,
that
whether working out, eating right, sleeping, whatever. If it doesn't go on the calendar, it's not going to happen. And honestly, if it's not on my calendar, it's not that important to me.
that's
Because if it's on the calendar, I'll make it happen. Mm. Okay, so talk to me about, because you have this HR piece where you're empowering people and professionals and leaders, and then you have the Artsy Girl where you are sending razzle dazzle into the world. What is that common purpose? Like, how do those two things come together? What are you doing in each one of those things to impact the world?
I will tell you that the biggest piece about being in human resources is a lot of people. Well, let me go back. A lot of people think the HR lady is the person who pays me,
Mm.
the person who tells me what my benefits are. But HR is so much bigger than that. It is, it's helping people find their purpose, helping people have and make dreams come true for their families, um, helping people grow in their careers,
Mm.
go through their career journey. You know, I like to tell people we handle employees from conception to birth. So, and it's a cycle. And I want people to feel like I'm a part of that. That me and my team, and I'll say my team, because I feel like I've gotten to a point in my career where I've got to bring other people along.
Mm.
So the folks that work for me, I try to make sure, and I say work for me, they really work with me and I work for them. Like
Mhm.
I want them to be front and center. So many times we become the leaders at the top and we don't reach back down to the people who are lead like that we are leading. And so it makes no sense for me to be on every project or, you know, I try to make sure that the folks on my team are the people who are front and center.
Mhm.
And I want to be here for their resource. So my goal is to make sure that I'm empowering them so that they can empower other people. And so that one day when they become whoever that might be, that folks are looking at them and saying, wow, I want to work for that person because they looked out for me. I correlate that to the Artsy Girl because I want women to feel amazing. There's so many things out there that's distracting. You got social media and all the girls pumping and bumping and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I want women to feel confident in whatever it is they're doing. If they're just running around and they just want to put on a pair of hoops and run around town, I want them to feel amazing doing it.
Yeah.
If they pick up a notebook that I have drawn or created, I want them to feel that spark and that razzle dazzle that I always talk about. That's very important to me. And I want the same for the people who work for the organization as well.
Yes. Yeah. That is the perfect example of discovering your brilliance because you have one purpose. You express it in many different ways. You express it in your finance company. You express it in the Artsy Girl. You express it in your motherhood. You express it in your community. You're a leader in your community. But there is one purpose. There's one purpose. I want people to feel their best, whether through HR coaching them and bringing them through their career, or whether through the accessories or journals or pieces that you create when they pick it up, when they look at it, when they put it on. You want them to feel their best. You're pulling them forward to their best. And oh, you know what is so beautiful? That's what your grandfather did for you. When you drew with him, when you
Mhm.
created art with him, that's what he did for you.
We used to draw Charlie Brown. Like we started out drawing Snoopy and Charlie Brown. And he would just say to me, let your imagination run wild. You want Snoopy to run, let him run. You want Snoopy to jump, let him jump. And so when I got really stressed in 2020, I had to reach back to that and how that felt and what that felt like. And it has changed my life in a way that who knew 40, not telling my age later, that I would be at a point where I would say, wow, I'm that little 4-year-old girl sitting down drawing with my granddad. And that's really who I am.
And you're impacting the world with it.
I'm trying
You doing it.
one
You are
thing better
doing
at a time.
it. I love it. I love it. So listen, I got to let you go, but please tell people how they can find you, how they can find the Artsy Girl, because I know all of my folks are ready to go to your website because we love jewelry over here. Okay. I already have my pieces. I get what I need first. So y'all can order now because I can't, I don't play with y'all. I get mine first. But please let the folks know how they can find you, how they can follow you, and how they can order.
I have Facebook and Instagram. That's the Artsy Girl 76. And I just got registered trademark. So I'm like status, I'm really excited. But the Artsy Girl 76, TheArtsy Girl 76. And that's either Instagram or Facebook. My website is theartsygirlshop.com. TheArtsy girlshop.com.
I love it. I love it. And everything will be in the show notes so that you all can follow. You can check out the Artsy Girl. You can order so that you can get some razzle dazzle in your life. I know that from hearing Sharmequa's story, that you are recognizing that you are more than one thing. You have more than one hat. You have one purpose, but that purpose is expressed in many different ways. And people are so quick to tell us, well, you can't do all that. They don't get to tell you what you can do. Whatever God created you to do, you can walk confidently in those shoes because the burden won't be too heavy for you because it's yours. All the things that are assigned to your life, you can do. And my sister is an example of that. So I'm so grateful for you joining us. Thank you, Sharmequa. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Anything for you.
Oh, same, same. Listen, y'all, as always, you are powerful, you are significant, and you are loved. Love always. PBJ.